The circumstances of our birth are random and beyond our control, meaning that some people end up in privileged countries, while others face enormous challenges in less favored places. The central question is, how do we define what makes a country advantageous, and how can we achieve happiness within its borders? The idea of a nation with abundant natural resources, like oil flowing freely, is certainly appealing. It's interesting to note that Venezuela fits this profile, being the country with the largest proven oil reserves in the world. However, despite this wealth of natural resources, it faces political turmoil and hyperinflation severely impacting purchasing power currently. Welcome to the channel Cultures on Stage. Subscribe to not miss any video. Leave your like as support and activate the notification bell. Regarding economic progress in the past 3 years, Venezuela has shown some positive signs, but still faces significant challenges in achieving lasting stability and improving the quality of life for its citizens. Located at the northern tip of South America, Venezuela borders the Amazon to the south, Guyana to the east, Colombia to the west, and the Caribbean Sea to the north. In terms of geographical size, it is considerably vast, surpassing many other global countries. However, despite this expanse, it faces challenges in the global marketing of oil, despite being rich in this resource. Its capital, Caracas, is the center of intense debate. Home to a population of 28 million people, the city offers a stunning landscape. However, internally, it's a scene of chaos. Endless lines are a common sight in Venezuela, where people face shortages of virtually all necessities, even in a country rich in oil. This description shows us that, despite the abundance of natural resources like oil, Venezuela faces significant challenges in ensuring the well-being of its population and equitable distribution of wealth. Shortages in Venezuela have reached alarming levels, leading people to wait for hours, even nights, for gasoline. The extreme devaluation of the local currency is one of the main causes of this problem. The Venezuelan bolivar has completely lost its value, forcing people to carry large amounts of money to make simple transactions. The country faces a severe crisis related to its currency, the bolivar, which is extremely devalued compared to the dollar and the euro. To illustrate the seriousness of the situation, officially, $1 is equivalent to 35 times more than the Venezuelan currency. This disparity is truly disastrous for the country's economy, generating instability and making daily life difficult for citizens. In addition to the economic challenges facing Venezuela, the government continues to remove zeros from the currency, further exacerbating the disparity. Currently, even the Syrian pound has a higher value than the Venezuelan bolivar. Imagine relying on foreign currency for almost all your needs, while your local currency has no purchasing power. The government's response has been to print more money to purchase goods abroad, which is causing runaway inflation. This leads to absurd situations, like a block of cheese costing the equivalent of $50 US. Current inflation in the country is estimated to be around 10,000%. Despite being rich in oil, Venezuela faces challenges in its oil industry due to embargoes that restrict its ability to sell oil on the international market. Additionally, it struggles to process its own oil, resulting in untapped resource wealth to meet its needs. To compensate, the country imports refined oil from Iran in an unequal deal, sending unprocessed crude oil in exchange for ready-to-use oil, benefiting Iran at the expense of Venezuela. Venezuela's economic problems are reflected in long lines at gas stations, as fuel shortages are a constant reality. To make matters worse, ATM withdrawals are limited to just $3 per week, contrasting with other countries with economies in crisis, like Lebanon, where $100 can be withdrawn. These financial restrictions make it even harder for Venezuelan citizens to access their own funds and face everyday challenges. This situation results in a lack of trust in the Venezuelan banking system, leading people to bring large sums of dollars from abroad. Even with globally valid credit cards, ATMs often run out of money. Additionally, cash transactions are also problematic due to a lack of change, preventing the local economy from benefiting from tourism. Faced with these economic challenges, local residents have found creative solutions to overcome them. For example, when dining out, many customers pay in dollars through U.S. bank accounts instead of using the Venezuelan bolivar. Unfortunately, this practice does not contribute to the Venezuelan government, as people are willing to avoid local banks at all costs, further undermining confidence in the country's financial system. The tragicomic aspect of the situation is notable, given that the monthly minimum wage in the country is barely 130 Venezuelan bolivars, roughly equivalent to $5, an impossible amount to live on in a month. To mitigate this crisis, the Venezuelan government occasionally offers free public transportation and distributes food assistance to the population. On some occasions, even gasoline at gas stations is provided for free. However, the average monthly income of workers in Venezuela was around $45 last year and has now increased to about $75. Even with this increase, it remains an extremely low amount to sustain a dignified life, showcasing the severity of the economic crisis affecting the country. Venezuelan citizens demand a minimum monthly wage of at least $500 to survive, but they know it's an unattainable goal. This has led tens of thousands of them to flee to Colombia or Brazil, where conditions are difficult but less severe. It's ironic to think that not long ago Venezuela was one of the most civilized and prosperous countries in its region, leading Latin America. Just 30 years ago, people from the Middle East, such as Lebanon and Syria, immigrated there in search of a better life and contributed to the country's development. However, Venezuela faced a drastic change after 1998. Subsequent leaders, like President Hugo Chavez, abandoned an economy based on production and opted for an oil-dependent economy. Foreign companies were expelled, with the government declaring, "If they have their brands, we have our oil." This economic shift had devastating consequences for the country and its population, resulting in the current crisis. Initially, this change went unnoticed, as Chavez redistributed wealth from the rich to the poor majority of the country, who fervently supported him, ensuring his victory in all elections. However, the Venezuelan elite, fearing the revolt of the poor majority, fled the country. Today, products from internationally known brands are rare in Venezuela. For example, there is a fast food chain similar to McDonald's, but it operates under a different name, using acquired naming rights. They have even adapted their products to bypass high costs, selling a crispy dough called yuca instead of French fries. This situation reflects the creative adaptation many Venezuelans must make to face the economic crisis. The departure of the private sector and the Venezuelan elite has had a significant impact on the country's economy. This change inadvertently triggered a process of degradation, exacerbated by the death of Hugo Chavez in 2013. He left behind an oil state that scavenged for food among the garbage. The current president, Nicolas Maduro, assumed office, but his leadership failed to restore the country's prosperity. Venezuela faced electricity shortages, with widespread blackouts disrupting public transportation and plunging the country into darkness. This situation left people in depression, and to this day, the country has not fully recovered. The local population is warm. However, when visiting the country, it is crucial to keep your valuable belongings safe, as the economic crisis has exacerbated crime rates, making Venezuela one of the most dangerous countries in the world. There are areas in the capital where even the police avoid entering, as stopping at red lights is risky due to kidnappings and robberies. The situation is so critical that the Venezuelan police do not find those who do not stop at traffic lights. The population of Venezuela has long been desperate for a savior. Leader Simón Bolívar liberated Venezuela, Ecuador, and Colombia from Spanish rule under the banner of Gran Colombia, securing the region's independence. Today, Latin America desperately seeks economic salvation. The hope for a new leader capable of pulling the country out of the crisis is strong, while daily difficulties continue to weigh on the Venezuelan people. The natural atmosphere of Venezuela is undeniably captivating, especially for hosting the world-famous Angel Falls, located in Canaima National Park, in the state of Bolívar. Angel Falls is spectacular, situated on a plateau called Ollantaytambo. It gained prominence when American aviator James C. Angel landed there in search of gold in 1937. With a height of 1,000 meters in free fall, they are the highest waterfalls in the world, recognized as a World Heritage Site since 1994. Angel Falls offers an impressive landscape, with dense vegetation that includes more than 500 species of orchids and bromeliads, as well as rivers of red color. The experience of being in front of this natural wonder is truly unique and memorable. We cannot fail to mention Margarita Island, also known as the Pearl of the Caribbean. Located in northeastern Venezuela, it is the only island state in the country, Nueva Esparta. Margarita is the largest of the Venezuelan Caribbean islands, with an impressive 1,072 square kilometers of extension. A standout feature of the island is its two mountain ranges, the Macanao Peninsula in the west and Paraguachoa in the east. These mountain ranges are joined by a lower leaf isthmus, creating a diverse and stunning landscape. The temperature on the island varies between 27 and 34 degrees Celsius, making it an attractive destination year-round for tropical climate lovers. When observing the faces of people in Caracas, it is evident that they are truly unhappy and depressed. The streets seem lifeless, and there is no enthusiasm in the city. The lack of purchasing power and activity makes life even more difficult. Roads, buildings, and even people are in poor condition. Many follow the routine of waking up, going to work, and sleeping, resigned to the situation. Some even resort to illegal means to earn money or choose to flee the country in search of better opportunities. However, there is a different group of people in the jungles of Venezuela, especially in the Amazonian geography of the south. There, they live a tribal life, oblivious to inflation and purchasing power. These communities have a different approach to life, focusing on subsistence and harmony with nature. In the depths of the Amazon, there are tribes that refuse to accept the rules of the modern world. They hide in the forests and are not very hospitable to strangers. One of these tribes is one of the most isolated in the world, known as the wildest formation of the Amazon. With differences of opinion even among their own members, these tribes live according to ancient traditions and have a distant relationship with the outside world. The state offers help to those fleeing the tribe, but it is not easy to reintegrate someone who is already accustomed to the tribe's lifestyle into the modern world. Cultural shock and adaptation can be significant challenges for those seeking a new life outside the depths of the Amazon jungle. Venezuelans find themselves in a unique situation. Despite its oil wealth, the country fails to attract tourists. Venezuela remains a nation with a paradisiacal geography that few deign to visit. It is a place where people navigate between wealth and poverty, reflecting a complex and challenging reality. Thank you for joining us this far. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those you think might be interested. This way, you help us continue to bring more content like this every week. Check out our latest video on the screen. See you later.